I got my buddy Geetus from the YouTube channel, Go Vegan Geetus. I thought I had a ton of YouTube videos up there. I was telling him the other day, like, yeah, you know, I'm on like episode 300, like 20 of my vlogs, and he was like, tell him what you said.
Dude, I'm over 400 videos right now.
Geetus is like a really knowledgeable bike mechanic and cyclist himself. I'm really into cycling. I think a lot of you guys are probably either into it or getting into it. If someone is interested in maximizing their performance, getting better with whether they want to race, so they're cycling and they want to get faster, what is the best tip in terms of training for them to do that? But then also, what's the best tip in terms of maybe bike mechanic and gear setup? And then thirdly, what's the biggest like lifestyle tip, whether it's nutrition or meditation or stretching, in order to maximize performance?
So we'll talk about the mechanics of it, the bike setup. For most people, I recommend a road bike, unless you're looking to specialize in time trials, which is mainly for triathlons. But for most people, to start out and gain fitness on a bike, you want to get a road bike. A road bike is endurance-based, is athletically based, and what I would recommend for beginners is an aluminum bike. And I'd always go to your local bike shop for them to set you up with the best bike. They'll fit that to you, and make sure you got some decent components on there. I mean, at least a 10-speed with a 105 group set.
Take notes.
Yeah, write all those numbers down. And depending on what kind of terrain you want to ride, if you want to ride more hills, maybe specify with the bike mechanics for getting your first bike.
I recommend hills.
To get better gearing. So like a compact crank in the front is the best road crank set for easy gearing on the hills. And then the back, at least a 32 cassette. So most bikes that would come with 32 cassettes and compact cranks are adventure bikes with disc brakes. The disc brakes are totally cool. They're, in my opinion, they're just a little bit harder to maintain, a little bit harder to service, but respond really well in all terrains, all conditions. If you have no experience on the bike, I definitely recommend disc brakes. So that's a little bit about the gear setup. Next we'll move on to nutrition. So nutrition sums it up in the terms of sleep, water, sugar. And we'll go over the first one, sleep. You want to be getting to bed early, and you want to be waking up early, and you want to be getting at least 10 to 12 hours of sleep optimally, and getting to bed before 10 p.m. That ensures you're going to be as fresh as possible the next day, and you're going to be able to train hard, you're going to be motivated to get out there. And then we'll go on to water. I recommend drinking at least 3 or 4 liters of water a day, keeping your urine clear, peeing every 2 to 3 times a day. And then carbohydrates.
More than that, I pee like 6 times a day, probably.
Cool. Did I say 2-3 times a day?
Yeah, peeing.
Oh,
you mean like 12 to 13?
Pee every 2 to 3 hours.
There you go.
Okay,
that's better.
My bad.
Yeah, no way you can live this lifestyle and pee 2 to 3 times a day.
Yeah.
That would be painful.
Definitely, you have to be seriously dehydrated. But anyway, and then the carbohydrates, you want to be getting at least 2,500 to 3,000 calories a day coming from high carbohydrate foods. That's either fruit, potatoes, rice, pasta,
whole
all that
foods.
good stuff.
Yeah.
For me personally, I find I perform way better in high carbohydrate foods. I find that almost like my energy stores are topped off. So, and then training regime, the fastest way to getting fitter is riding up hills, hands down.
100%.
You can have all these elaborate training regimes, but what really, for beginners especially, what really motivates you to push hard is the hills, because you ultimately have no choice on the hills but to push hard. The resistance there.
No coasting on hills.
Exactly, yeah. It's a little bit more difficult to put out more power on the flats. And another key important tool to have is a power meter. A power meter.
I haven't made that step yet, but I think I probably should.
Yeah, a power meter objectively tells you and shows you that you're getting fitter or you're not.
Yeah, and look, it doesn't mean you shouldn't start cycling until you get a power meter. Like, I don't have a power meter. I've cycled so much. So go out and cycle. Go out and take whatever bike you have. But these are just tips to hit a gold standard if you're interested in optimizing your performance.
Yeah, but definitely hill climbing is the best way to getting fit. Just go and hit the hills. Go out and train for like an hour. You can train an hour every day. That's like a really good start. And for someone who's not comfortable with that, go to like 4 or 5 times a week training.
All right, man, those are the tips. And if you're geeking out on all that and stoked to get started cycling or to optimize your performance, go check out his over 400 videos. I don't talk about this stuff too often, even though it's parts of my life that I engage in all the time, but he has some really quality information. Gita has fixed my bike. He's given me recommendations that have made me a better cyclist. So check out his stuff. What else do you have besides your YouTube channel, which will be in the description box?
Yeah, so
If that's it, I don't know.
At Go Vegan Gitas on Instagram. I tend to post a lot of photos there, a lot of cool photos. And then you can also check me out on Strava under my full name. Well, actually, it's not even my full name. It's Go Vegan Gitas as well. So, and Gitas is spelled G-Y-T-I-S.
I aspire to be as like chill and grounded as this dude while he's so productive. I don't know how he does it. He's so chill. I love you, man. And hopefully we'll meet up again either on the Asia side of the world or here at the Woodstock Food Festival.
All right, thanks.
Peace.